r/malicious-compliance. Posted by user, Kono Kermit Duh. My boss told me to find another job, so I did, right when they needed me the most. Earlier today I was reading a story about a shitty manager that bullied someone into quitting their job. I decided to share a similar experience. Back when I was still working in HR, I got a great job offer. This was a publicly funded company with huge cultural impact, really the definition of an institution. Everyone who learned I worked there couldn't help but to feel slightly amazed at the discovery. Some people even rudely implying I had friends in the right places. Never mind, I was a recently graduate clueless young man with nothing to my name. This was my first real job too. Not counting internships or smaller summer jobs. As such, I really tried my best to be helpful and kind to everyone on my first year there, and maybe that's why I became a target. After I secured a permanent contract with them, with incredibly shitty pay and no benefits at all, I might add, one particular coworker got pretty salty about my position in the office, although, for all intents and purposes, I was still beneath pretty much everyone there. This culminated in getting a call from this person, 30 minutes after I had left work, asking about a pile of papers she couldn't find. I remembered I had actually kept those papers on my desk, and tell her to look there. I apologized profusely and ask her if she wants me to go back to help her deal with it. She simply says no, and that everything is alright. Now, this was the type of coworker that always did the bare minimum, and still whine about it at every chance she had. I never thought much of it, after all she was a mom and as such, she probably was pretty tired all the time. But I never thought she would turn on me, because she had to stay at work for 30 more minutes looking for a pile of papers. Half the time I would have to stay 1 or 2 hours after work to deal with my workload, so I thought it was no big deal. The next day, I again apologized to my coworker, but immediately noticed something wasn't quite right about the way she was acting with me. Throughout the day, I noticed her going out of the office with coworkers, sending them messages and letting out these poisonous little laughs to herself, every time I opened my mouth to say anything. From that day on, this was one of the people that decided to make my life a living hell. I made some friends in this place too, some of them became really great friends, that I still hang out and treasure to this day. But for the most part, it was an absolute hellhole. Here are some of the things that I experienced over my 3-year stay. Got one of the most important people in the company, publicly shaming me for participating in an interview wearing sneakers. Keep in mind that no dress code was defined for interview, or any other corporate event, and I had always worn sneakers. A sadistic manager who, on good days, would talk shit about everyone she had to work with, and on bad days would downright bully and verbally assault me in front of other coworkers. A coworker who would often raise rumors about me based on nothing, the same who turned on me because of 30 extra minutes on the job. A coworker who, for no good reason, sprayed me and my friends with a fire extinguisher, and HR who refused to do anything about it, etc. I don't pretend that I was the perfect worker. I mean, it was my first job, I made a ton of mistakes and probably pissed a lot of people off. But I'd be hard pressed to find anyone who could deal with this toxic workplace and keep their mental stability. All of this pushed me to a point of near nervous breakdown, and one day, I just couldn't take it anymore. It's a day just as any other. At some point after lunch, I come back into the office to find my coworker sitting at her desk all by herself. Weird, I thought, she usually came back from lunch way after I did. Obviously sulking, she acknowledges my presence, by immediately accusing me of hiding papers to prevent her from doing her job. Keep in mind, it's been almost 3 years since she called me after work hours and our relationship soured. This day would be the climax of that seething hatred we had both cultivated for one another. I shrug and tell her I have no idea what she's talking about. Never seen such papers and certainly have nothing to do with the situation. I sit down, also pissed now, but ready to move on, and not waste any more time on this subject. My manager comes in, and notices something has happened. The tension is palpable. Before she has the chance to ask what's up, my coworker pipes up. Well, you see, What's happening is that Kono Kermit is a liar. What? In all of my 3 years there, I never raised my voice, never talked back, never shown a hint of defiance until that very, fucking, moment. I can't deal with anyone calling me a liar, it's one of the things that makes me go absolutely insane with rage. I immediately cut her off, and tell her how much of a toxic bitch she is. I wasn't nice or even professional about it, and I really don't regret it. I didn't use any swear words, but I was definitely very personal about the way I responded. I can see their surprise, they never thought I would fight back. They expected me to take it and shut up forever. Things go downhill from here for me. My bitch of a coworker gets transferred somewhere else, but I'm told I have to undergo behavioral training. For the first time in years, I'm not taking shit, and I let my manager know I'm not interested. I had been humiliated for 3 years and finally stood up for myself. I wasn't going to be punished for that. My boss calls me to her office. Begins asking weird questions like, "Are you happy here? And what do you want to do in the future?" I told her about my grievances and how toxic this work culture is. In no uncertain terms, she tells me, "You know, we have to renew your contract soon. But if you're not happy here, I would find a job somewhere else." What? I had given this company some of the best years of my youth. I worked for them day and night, going the extra mile, even when they didn't ask me to, for what amounted to be a little more than minimum wage. Their payback? Punishing me for standing up for myself once. Well, the problem, for them, is I had been learning how to program while working. I would get off work late in the evening, go home and drag my exhausted body to my laptop, to study up to 4 or 5 hours of coding. I realized I really liked coding. Like, a lot. Unbeknownst to them, I had begun taking small coding projects for no pay, as having other paid jobs was forbidden in this company, and soon I was thinking of launching a career as a web developer. My contract ended and I expected to receive a call in 1 or 2 weeks, to come by and sign the new contract. This was the usual process for workers like me. Weeks go by, and I honestly believe they just decided to not hire me back. Didn't bother me, after all, I was already looking for a new job before my contract was even over. 3 months later, I get a call from my manager. "Hi Kono Kermita. How are you? Listen, we got your new contract here, why don't you come by, to sign it? If you sign it, today we can have you back by Monday." She goes on to tell me how much work there's been lately, and how they really need me back ASAP. All the projects I had worked on were halted, because no one else wanted to work on them. A quarter of a year after they dropped me with no word of hiring me back. At this point, however, I was getting plenty of interviews for IT companies who were genuinely interested in my skills and portfolio. "Thank you, I'm not coming back." The silence on the other end of the call was so sweet. My manager asked me to pass by anyway, she would like a word with me, and I still had my personal belongings at my desk. I agreed, figuring this was the only chance I'd have to stick it back to them, after 3 years of abuse. She sat me down with a disgustingly saccharine attitude, that she would seldom display while I was working for them. The whole meeting was essentially a desperate attempt to bring me back into the company, and me refusing it at each turn. "That's okay," she said, "what are you going to do then?" I told her I'd work as a programmer. My reply is met with laughter. I remained silent. "That's good," she continued, "I'm sure you can do it. But you know, I would seriously consider staying with us." I reiterate I'm not interested, and even let her know I'm moving away in a couple of months. Again, she laughs at me. Apparently, my plans for the future were so extraordinarily out of my reach, in her opinion, that she just couldn't help but laugh. Just a last little slap on my face. Finally, she asks, "Why would you want to leave us?" I shrugged, unable to contain my smile. "You people told me to get a job if I wasn't happy here. I'm just following your suggestion." Much to my manager's chagrin, I did land a job in web development, and after I left this job because I wanted to immigrate, My employer liked my work so much he asked me to keep working for them remotely, until I found another job in my destination. I've been working as a web developer for 3 years now, and every single day I look back at my previous career and wipe the sweat off my forehead, knowing I dodged a lifetime of misery and abuse. As for my previous workplace, they're still going strong. After all, it is a huge institution, and my part in it wasn't that important. But my team was pretty badly hit. Without me, they couldn't perform interviews, and keep some of their projects going. For a couple of months, the whole thing was hot garbage, until they hired another clueless recent graduate. But honestly, knowing those people have to wake up and go to work in the hell they have personally created, feels like enough of a punishment for me. Hope they find the inner peace they want so badly. TLDR, abusive workplace let me know, they were happy to let me go after I stood up against my 3 years of abuse. I let them know I was extremely happy to go, after they realized they needed me for my projects and tried to walk it back. If you liked this story, press the like button, and leave a comment below. You can upvote this story by pressing the link in the description. If you want to hear more stories, hit the subscribe button, and press the bell icon to be alerted when a new video is posted.